We're grateful you could join us here on JoyNews Prime. Now, imagine storing your bath water to flush your toilet or having to keep your baby's bath water to wash your clothes. And how about when you're forced to use sachet water for meal preparation? This has become the plight for hundreds of residents of Gulf Estate in the Katamanso municipality of the Greater Accra region. For 3 weeks, their taps have run dry, impacting their quality of life. There's more in the following report.
Scenes like these are common at Gulf City in the Katamanso municipality of the Greater Accra region because their pipelines don't flow regularly. For weeks, residents have resorted to using bowls for bathing as a means of harvesting wastewater to flush their toilets.
It is tough for us these days, so what we do is bath into bowls so that we can harvest the wastewater to flush our toilets. Both the elderly and kids now bath like that. Sometimes, some are even compelled by the lack of water to go to nearby bushes to ease themselves.
According to affected residents, although low water pressure has been a persistent issue in the area, it has worsened in the last 3 weeks.
For Christmas, it has been one of the dull Christmas we've ever experienced for the past years because we have passed through the festivity without water.
For more than 2 weeks now, we haven't had water. It's been about 3 weeks actually. So you buy sachet water or you buy from the water tankers. That's what we do. This morning I had to use sachet water to bath. Okay, you ration water. If you need to do something, you are checking, you are putting priorities because of lack of water.
Apart from inconveniencing lives, businesses like this washing bay have been forced to shut down.
It starts from the barrier to high tension. I'll be talking about over 1,000 houses. My closest neighbor, who is the washing base woman, have closed his business within the Christmas festivity. There's no business, and you know that when there's no business in there, the workers are the people that are mostly affected because throughout about 2 weeks now, the workers are not working.
But what is the root cause of the problem?
The pressure is down, so the only solution can solve the problem that we should get the 4 inches pipe.
Residents believe the Ghana Water Company Limited must install new pipelines to permanently address the challenge.
It will be very better if they lay new pipes for us. It will be very better and put us on a good line so that anytime they are pumping, they pump direct to our neighborhood.
When contacted, the Tama Regional Communications Manager of the Ghana Water Company Limited, Samson says the concerns will be investigated.
We have just had information. It has just come to our attention, actually. And so quickly, my regional chief manager himself has directed a team headed by the regional distribution manager as we speak now so that they can go to the ground, they carry out investigation, and as soon as possible, we'll try our best to resolve the challenge there, and then our customers over there can also enjoy some water. So we are assuring them that their issue has come to our attention and investigation is being carried out. So as soon as possible, we'll be able to resolve the challenge there and they can enjoy some water supply.
For now, residents will have to endure the situation while hoping the utility company addresses their concerns.
Now, away from that story, death put an end to all misery in the world. However, death can also leave families devastated in debt. My colleague Caleb Benson has been speaking with funeral industry players who complain that it is no longer affordable to bury the dead.
Death is inevitable and a leveler. To some, it signifies the end of all troubles on earth. But besides leaving families emotionally devastated, it also leaves many pockets empty. Ghanaian funerals can be a drain on the purse. Becky Bosomchip buried her father 2 weeks ago. To finalize the burial and funeral, she came to this conclusion.
It's now expensive to die because recently my father died. I think we buried him 2 weeks ago, and looking at the expenses we have made, it's so much.
The fees are many. Mortuary fees, undertaker fees, hearse fees, casket fees, and many more.
Mortuary fee is so expensive. We paid a lot that I can't put the figure here though. But some of the mortuary fees, I think the government should do something about it. Even the burial space, you have to pay for it. The cement and everything that you use for the burial is expensive.
Daniel Mensah makes caskets for a living. He agrees with Becky. Casket prices have indeed skyrocketed. Daniel says all materials for making coffins have shot up.
Well, materials move here, nigito, painting, no piano, genewa. And then how we need to have been now, but our date. Ne keti won fair, maybe we need it, no, it's too much. If you're not.
Bawumia Cemetery is one of the cheapest cemeteries in Accra. Accra Metropolitan Assembly recently increased the burial fees from 600 to 1,000 cedis.
I don't think it is expensive because the 1,000 cedis that you pay, it goes with the space, not just only the space. There is digging. We don't just bury in the quite the earth grade like that. You still need to put in some form of block work inside the grave before we bury. So all these things has a cost.
Florence Kuchi is the director at the Accra Public Health Department. She justifies the increment of burial fees.
Cost of labor, cost of water, cost of cement, and everything goes into it. Depending on how you want to bury will also determine on the amount you are going to pay. So costly is relative, I can say that. Depending on where you are going to bury and the location, that will determine whether. But I can tell you, Bawumia Cemetery is still the costless, the cost-effective place to bury in Accra.
Bernard Kwashi is a gravedigger at Osu Cemetery. He has noticed that the current economic crunch has made it more difficult for families to organize funerals.
For this government burial, this government spoiled the burial because there was a time people have been spending money on burial like this, but now, so of the government, everything is hardship to do something. So, if God willing and nobody can help you or to support to do the burial, for this government we are in by this time there to bury is very hard.
However, many bereaved families disagree with the AMA. Indeed, the economic situation has made burial more expensive. But would you rather organize a modest funeral, or will you still insist on an expensive, befitting funeral for your loved one who may not even know how much you spent on them? Caleb Mensah's reports for Joy News.
Now, some young betting enthusiasts insist government plan to collect a 10% withholding tax on their winnings is unthinkable and must be reconsidered. Government in the last quarter of 2023 directed betting companies to implement the directive in 2024. However, some people who bet told my colleague Michael Ashali on New Year that it is not fair to tax their hard-earned money.
The bet where we dey stake, you don't know where we get the money from. You know, say the system inside works, that no dey plenty like that. So that be what we dey take, they do 1 2 But if you talk bet, then you won't take the percentage. See, if you take one self, still we go stake the bet. So that one there, you no go see say you go add them, boys go stop them. Massa, we go stake to die unless you close the betting system. So
I think the taxes is too much for us. Paying taxes is not offended, it's good. But if you are benefiting from what you are paying to the government, I think if government asks us to pay more, we can do it. But it's okay, we are paying the taxes day in, day out, new tax, but you are not seeing the benefit of what you are paying. Will you be happy to pay the new taxes that come in? So we are pleading with the government, you should break it up. Let's conjure, understand. So we agree on what the taxes are going to do for us.
That one is not fair. Because now you are cutting the bet to get something. Now you get something, they are going to take you tax inside. What about if they bet to chop you? The government will give you something. They will give you anything. So why they will take you tax you where you chop the bet? If you go take tax safe. You for take tax from the people who are cutting the bet, who are the people who are operating the bet. Yeah, the commercials. You for take the tax from them, not the person who cuts and chop where you take the tax from them. That one is not fair. See now, I don't know what talks here because the country is already destroyed. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. Why somebody go cut gambler and chop there, you take the person go cut gambler there, you take tax from him. That one is not fair.
Why me I go suffer, go do my kaya, go stick my bet, I go chop, then you can't take percent. You take the percent, we make quiet, you start want to add again. No, you no good. You no good, therefore stop. We don't benefit anything inside our tax in Africa here. Most Ghana, and we have many things where then they put tax on it. It's normal, but no bet.
Seriously, no good though, because we like this, no. We don't know where we get the money from. Where the time we take stick the bet for this side. So if you do, then you take tax, you kill us. So you go take 50 cedis, you go chop 50 cedis, and you go take 10%. How much you go take for this one bet inside? No good givers. So make Nanado do something about it. Give.
Now, the Ghana Online Drivers Union is pushing for the Transport Ministry to regulate operations of online hailing services. They argue that if the Ghana Revenue Authority decides to carry on with their plan to reintroduce vehicle income tax, it is only fair that the Transport Ministry steps in as a third party to regulate pricing in order not to drive away customers or put drivers at a disadvantaged position. We'll hear from the leadership of the union shortly. First, here is the Commissioner General of the GRA, Reverend Dr. Amishadai Owusu-Amoah, justifying the reintroduction of vehicle income tax on ride-hailing vehicles.
I think that sometimes people should understand because it's the same people who say widen the net. And like we started, you said we are focusing on the same people all the time and we are creating fatigue. And then when we are trying to widen the net today, say, why are you going to this area? Why are you going to this area?
Because people are worried about the impact on the cost of living because these firms would definitely pass on these costs to them. If without them, and you might be hitting your target, maybe let's excuse them.
So then where is the widening the net? So I think that is people should, and sometimes when they say these things, they said in 2 years, in some sort of thing. It's important that we deepen and widen the net. And if there are some industry players, some sectors that are not in, it's important that we keep on looking at it. Because if there is somebody doing a business and that business is not on, for example, we talked about, in fact, one of the things that we put in our strategy is the emerging business lines and bringing those emerging business lines into the tax bracket. And when I say emerging business lines, this the ride-hailing apps is one example. The other apps that people use to buy things is one example. And I can tell you that since last year we implemented the what do you call it, e-commerce registration. We have seen a lot of revenue coming from that point.
How much has it brought in? Not specific, but just the range, maybe not specific.
In fact, we're getting roughly about 800 something million as at the end of it. We just have to check.
Okay, all right.
But it has been significant, almost getting to $1 billion from that sector. I mentioned it at the last one of the events.
We cannot hear from the Ghana Online Drivers Union. They are worried the reintroduction of vehicle income tax would open the floodgates for car owners to demand an increase in sales. They want the Transport Ministry to regulate operations of online hailing services. Francis Kweku Tenge is the national chairman of the Ghana Online Drivers Union.
We were hoping that the GRA will actually engage us. We will actually, like he said, he's now widening up the net. So widening up the net, before you go to someone's house to take something, at least you knock. You let the people know that you are coming in. Let there be a consultation, let there be a collaboration, let there be a teamwork. Put people on committees, put people on board, so that we can see how best we can actually work. So we are hoping that the GRA will actually make things proper this year. Not only that, we are also hoping and praying that the Ministry of Transport to actually regulate the system. There will be a legislation that will make the whole sector juicy, official, make it commercial, Because if it's not commercial, how can a GRA tax us? How can we pay? We're already paying a value-added tax of 21.9% since July 2023. And we think that the way things are going on in this country must be done and must be done right so that everybody will be happy. Drivers are already paying too much. We are scared that the introduction of VIT will allow car owners to actually increase sales, weekly sales. Should they increase their sales? Already, our sister union, that is GPRTU, have threatened to increase fares of up to 60% or no less than 60%. Now, here we are now, because there's no regulation, nobody determines the pricing, the fare for Uber, Bolt, and Yango. Government must come in as a third party, as the referee, as the intermediary, and say, okay, I want to come in and then determine pricing of fares on base fare. But because there's no regulation, there's a vacuum. So Uber is charging differently as low as 10 cedis, sometimes 12 cedis. We have to go on strike and demonstration before the increase. It's not fair. And so to us, when car owners increase our sales, our weekly sales, then we have no option than also at least go on a nationwide strike. And then two, we are going to charge our own fares. So like we are saying, you have to look at everything logically, and then you request a car and the driver picks up, then there will be a negotiation with you and the driver. There will be bargaining. If the driver agrees, you also agree, then the driver comes and pick you. We don't get there, and then unless of course the Uber, Bolt, and Yango have to block everybody. They have to block everybody in this country. I don't think they are ready to do that. So we expect that the government GRA should call for a meeting. The union must be present. That will represent the drivers, Uber, Bolt, and Yango, and the Ministry of Transport, all of us.
Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority has indicated that full implementation of the 5 tax bills passed by Parliament may not take effect from the 1st of January 2024 as expected. Now, Parliament last Friday passed 5 tax bills. Key among them is the VAT Amendment Bill, which may increase motor insurance by more than 30% from 2024, and the Emission Levy, which imposes an annual 100 cedis charge on petrol and diesel car owners. But Commissioner General Reverend Dr. Amishadai Usomo says some conditions must first be met before enforcement of the new taxes. There's more in the following report.
Deep into the night, Friday, 22nd December, Parliament was busy. It has, by majority decision, passed a raft of new taxes set to take effect this new year, despite opposition from the NDC MPs. The VAT Amendment Bill imposes a value-added tax on insurance premiums, which will raise the cost from this new year. This bill also imposes a VAT on imported textbooks, erasers, and other stationery. On the positive side, however, this bill zero rates VAT on locally manufactured sanitary pads. Government suspects this will bring down the cost of sanitary pads on the market. The House also approved the Emissions Levy Bill, again despite opposition from the NDC, which imposes a levy of 100 cedis on petrol and diesel vehicles. The minority described these taxes as regressive and not well thought through.
What sort of tax is this? It's regressive. It's regressive because the person using a motorbike should not pay the same tax to the person using Lexus NX570. The Speaker, so we should be careful what we are legislating on. They came and they were saying they were moving from taxation to production. Mr. Speaker, I thank God that I didn't die. Otherwise, if anybody had told me today we will be imposing taxes on Ghanaians under this government, I would have said the person is a liar. Mr. Speaker, the only hope for the people of Ghana is that the NDC or the minority is the only group of people in this parliament at this moment in time that can prevent the people of Ghana from further taxes and further hardships. And we are going to do exactly that.
But the majority side mounted a spirited defense.
By 2030, combustion engines will be outlawed in parts of Europe, where most of our cars come from. We will not get those combustion engines or spare parts to come and repair those cars here. And it will become extremely punitive and even more expensive to even bring such car parts. The whole world is moving.
Our brothers, as a result of politics, They are pushing everything aside as if what is happening today has never occurred. Mr. Speaker, I never knew that taxing your own people to develop the same environment that will benefit the poor and everyone along the social stratification defines an ailing economy.
In the end, when it came down to a vote, the majority, the side with more numbers won, and the taxes were passed. The GPRTU say they may increase transport fares by up to 60% due to the emissions levy bill. Abbas Imoru speaks for the union.
We are paying sanitation and pollution levy 10% on a liter. We are paying on this pollution. Then what another term they use, emission term, different term, terminology to tax us again. So we're waiting to the speaker so that he presents it. We want to create awareness to our representatives in parliament that no, this should be exempted or it should be changed. In the letter, we indicated that if nothing is being done about it, we will increase oil fares not less than 60%. We indicate this in the letter as well, that where we have gotten to, we are pleading with Parliament to do something about it.
The Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, which regulates such decisions, is backing the GPRTU on this one. The Ghana Revenue Authority, meanwhile, says despite an effective date of 1st January, all these new taxes may not come into effect immediately. Reverend Dr. Amishadai Owusu is Commissioner General of the GRA.
Once the bill is approved by Parliament, normally in the approval process, there could be some amendments, some changes here and there. And so even though our team have already started trying to put together the parties' notes and the processes, we cannot come out with it until the final bill is given to us. Then you will notice whether there are some changes. So once you notice that, you have to now go back and then finish it. So it's the interval between the time of approval and then there may be another week or two or whatever it takes for us to also finalize the necessary documentation around it. So the aim is to start from 1st January, but the practical, what do you call it? The practicability, is that the word? Yes, is what actually finally determines. So once we get it, then we'll look at what we need to do.
All these new taxes are expected to bring in close to 12 billion cedis into the government kitty as government seeks to meet IMF conditionalities. For Joy News, Kwiku Asante.
You're still watching JoyNews Prime with me, Carlos Caloni. We'll have more after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has committed to peace as Ghana goes to the polls later this year. Speaking at the Action Chapel International Church crossover service, the NPP flag bearer urged all political actors to commit to resolving disputes through the courts. He said we must protect the peace the country is enjoying.
I am here to say that as we enter 2024, this is going to be a year of a general election in Ghana. Ghana is a blessed country. We are the most peaceful country in West Africa and the second most peaceful country in Africa. We don't have to take it for granted. I believe that when you look at all our neighboring countries, you have a lot of turmoil, but Ghana seems to be an oasis of peace. But I don't think it has just happened by coincidence. I believe God has his hands on Ghana, and we should continue to pray to maintain our peace and stability in Ghana. So we may have differences politically, but the election should not result in any instability. In Ghana, when we have difficulties or disagreements over elections, we go to court and we settle the matter in court. You and I were not there, and we will settle it that way and go back and live peacefully. And this is how I expect the 2024 election to go peacefully. But we have to pray. Papa, please remember the country in your prayers as we execute the 2024 election. I would say that Papa threw an open invitation for next year. And I am very hopeful that next year I will be here to give testimony for what you have done.
Flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Mahama, has assured the youth of his intention to work towards redeeming the image of the country if elected. According to him, Ghana, which is supposed to be the Black Star of Africa, is fallen. Due to the present economic difficulty, many, especially the youth, continue to lose hope in the country. Mr. Mahama pledged of his preparedness to work towards improving situation in the country. The former president is seeking a return to power. Actually spoke at a church service at the Sanctuary of Wind and Fire Assemblies of God Church in Tamale, where he crossed over into the new year.
Never give up on your country. God is not finished with Ghana yet. We're going through crisis. We're going through crisis, and He has not given up on us. There's sometimes when God uses experience not only to test us, but also to give us a learning experience. He could have taken his children from Egypt and sent them straight to Canaan. But why did he let them wander in the bush for 40 years and 40 nights? So that they would learn and appreciate Canaan and what he had laid up for them. And so sometimes we go through tribulations, but it doesn't mean we must throw up our hands in despair and give up. Never, 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 never give up. We must continue to battle, to work hard until we achieve the objective that we set ourselves. And so this year is 2024. Let us continue to have hope and believe that God's plan for Ghana is not over, and that we will have the opportunity to make a choice at the end of this year, in December 2024. And that God will prosper this country, and that this country will rise again. We're supposed to be the Black Star of Africa. Today, that Black Star has fallen on the ground. But I can assure you that Black Star will rise again.
Now, some men of God on 31st night called the bluff of the police and issued prophecies contrary to an earlier warning against such messages and during their watch night services. The police, in a statement ahead of the festivities, said it was enforcing the ban on the publication of false news in order to avoid needless panic, fear and alarm among the public. But some men of God defied this directive and went ahead with their prophecies.
Three of them, Reverend Emmanuel Bedu-Kobi of the Glorious Wave Church, the head pastor of the Glorious Word Power Ministry, Reverend Isaac Owusu-Bempah, and Nigel Gazy of the Prophetic Hill Chapel, all issued prophecies. First is Reverend Bedu-Kobi.
I'm saying it on the social media. I'm not prophesying. I'm saying Bawumia, he won't win. That's why God himself took Alan Chamantin from your party. It was to show you that he is messing your party up. Abano, you second round. Mahama never fought there. I'm on it. MPP for my catch almost say Alan Chamantin be free party him. No more kind prophecy no. Now so be on one party. What any party? Maybe second shots or so. Now me we are so for now much.
Reverend Isaac Owusu-Bempah predicted the country will experience its worst power crisis in recent history and some chaos during the elections.
Sir, 2024 election.
You see, this year's election, please let's pay attention to this. Do not be so concerned about who is going to win.
But But
let us be concerned about the loss of life and the spillage of blood. Now, the way the darkness fell upon the nation, one may have thought that the whole world was dark.
Now,
come to think of it, what can happen in Ghana that will make darkness cover Ghana? But let's pray about it. So let's pray about it spiritually, but also those who work, those who play a role like ECG, like Gridco, like VRA, those who produce and supply.
Reverend Nigel Gazy, on his part, declared the opposition NDC will win the 2024 general elections and asked NDC supporters to be vigilant.
The last election, the National Democratic Congress in the realm of the spirit, they won the election. The last general election in the realm of the spirit, the National Democratic Congress won the election, but the prophetic promptings I had, but they did not waken themselves. They were not alert, they were not watchful, they were not eye careful. And the Lord said I should tell them again, this year is for them. 2024 general election for the National Democratic Congress. But if they don't take care and they go and sleep like they slept, already the motorcade is weak. The motorcade that will bring the new president to the Independence Square is weak. So, weakness will not take them to the Jubilee House. And the strong man said I should tell them, though the motorcade is weak, if they can quicken themselves. I saw the flags of the National Democratic Congress.
Now, ahead of the crucial 2024 general election, some church leaders in the Ashanti region have been calling for peace. Reverend Victor Kusibwaten has cautioned politicians and their supporters against any form of violence, while encouraging the church to pray for the nation prior to the elections. The men of God advised political actors to accept the election outcome in good faith to avoid chaos. My colleague Nana Boachi Yadom gauged the mood at some churches during the 31st night services to usher into the 2024.
Praise and worship at various churches as we enter the first day of 2024. As an election year, it is already anticipated to be crucial for political parties.
2024 is going to be an election year. So one of the things that we are praying is that God will give us a peaceful year, and we are admonishing every Christian that whatever we do in 2024, it should bring glory to God. Let's try our best to work in such a way that we are working together and we bring peace all throughout the country. It is very essential that if most of the population in Ghana say they are Christians, then we should let that peace of God that Christians preach all about should be emphasized and should be seen among people in the nation.
Leader of the Power Chapel Worldwide, Prophet Victor Kusibwaten, ushered his congregation into the new year. He, however, cautioned political actors to ensure a peaceful election in December.
A heart for the nation is better than anyone's agenda. And I appeal to both MPP, NDC, and all the other parties to have the heart of the nation to heart, to consider the young men and the young women, and never to instigate any kind of violence. For what the Lord will do, he will do. If the other party wins, the other should not bring in any kind of chaos. So let the interests of this nation outlive and outweigh your ambition as a politician, because the nation Ghana first and your ambition second. As a believer, I know that the Lord sets up kings and brings down kings. And so I think that it will be irresponsible on the part of the leaders of any political party not to talk to their followers, to adhere to the protocols of this nation, and to let them understand that the interest of this nation is the prime thing that every one of us should desire. And so every one of us should speak to our followers, speak to your followers, let them understand that regardless of what result comes, the nation Ghana first and every other thing secondary.
Pastor Christian Boache called on party sympathizers not to engage themselves in any form of chaos during the election.
There's only one nation. There's only one Ghana. Even those who are outside the country, when they leave, they want to make investment and come home. And therefore, we must protect what we have. If the government will come, the government will go. I think what we should do is vote for the best person and then seek for the peace of the nation. If we burn the nation, we can't make any other nation ours.
Ministry, the prophet Samson and Motin urged Christians to focus on building a better relationship with God. He said it is time for Christians to choose whom they will serve.
Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. If you mistakenly don't reply somebody Happy New Year, it's going to be a World War III. But the issue is, what is the new? Okay, 2022, we entered this year and say, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Be honest, have you seen anything new? No, be honest. Have you seen anything really, really new in your life? The only thing that can make it new is being able to develop a personal relationship with God. That makes it new. Otherwise, every year will come and will grow. Some of us are getting gray hair. Some of us, our shape are changing. Now you say corset, they are socketed. Choose this day who you will serve. Make a decision. My topic is the best decision to make. The best decision. You don't need resolutions. How many times do we do resolutions, New Year's resolutions, and we don't obey it? We can't even do it. Don't become just a Christian. Become God's person. God's person means I am on God's side. Everybody is now like this. I'm a Christian. Tomorrow, laugh small. Next day, hatred. The next day, the next day, the next day.
Now, crossing over into a new year in church has become a tradition for many in the country. But unconventionally, some youth of Aduato in Kumasi consumed their 31st night over local brew attire, singing along secular music to usher the new year. Interestingly, their base is directly opposite a church that was filled with believers in worship. Nana Yaojima caught up with the group and filed this report.
From a small speaker, various songs that made waves in the previous year play. In excitement, the young men sing along in expectation of the new year. The theme of the songs played in sequence was prosperity. The group positioned itself outside the premises of Abraham's Temple Assemblies of God. Though the church was in the middle of a crossover service, these young people were not perturbed. To keep them awake in anticipation of the new year, the band of young men boil a herbal tea popularly known as attaya. Here, drinking of the tea is open to all, including people who had come to church for the crossover service. The worry on the mind of many is why these people would pitch camp in front of the church. Just like those who crossed over in church, these young people have their New Year resolution.
23 no, chamachi rough. Sinamai, Bilmania become about me, chamachi. but 24 there ye gi visa na yeso afrosoro aha ye yobia ni a de obeka se ye yobia we bi oboa unim zoom la yo djuma na be kwakọ na blochi enye ni kroma.
Many on the streets of Kumasi, despite how they transitioned into the new year, are expectant of what it holds. For JoyNews, Nana Aljima reporting.
Now, Nkwanta south of the Oti region could not cross over to 2024 in the usual church service, followed by merrymaking in the street and pubs. The curfew imposed due to the conflict between 3 ethnic groups in the area kept residents indoors. Now, speaking to our Dome News, Reverend Father Prosper Kofi Anebo of Nkwanta St. Teresa's Roman Catholic Church appealed to the 3 ethnic groups to lay down their arms and give peace a chance.
Yeah, I are church. Any? Wow.
Or like, this
place would have been full by
now. If you say na, when you say Ghana ni biara, yeah, and that's when you say, I'm not boy am afino. Quite we, be quite we. And I say I'm Branambe, bomb pie, and then I'm yassi. Nah, Shannon, when you say what they are afino, and the business pempesui. And then I'm saying yes, I want content
because we usually
advise
our members in the upcoming year.
And I feel so yes, I so for say hi.
From the Lord Almighty.
If you say Ankasa mbrina yenya akwanya ye de betu ye ukrofofo. So betu anamo of fufuro be wura mu. And yes, of fifda numu. O me the messenger.
Now, close call at the Black Star Square as fireworks misfire, endangering the lives of thousands of revelers who gathered on New Year Eve. Now, the timely intervention of the Ghana National Fire Service and military averted any catastrophe. Meanwhile, unlike 2023, many are hopeful 2024 will be good to them. There's more in the following report.
It's the last night of 2023, and the world divides into 2 distinct realms. One filled with fervent prayers, echoing in sacred spaces, seeking solace in the hallowed halls of worship.
Whatever you are believing the Lord for in 2024.
As a practicing Christian, it's good that you come and thank God for a very good year, a very difficult year, that you would pray to God to forgive you for your sins, and also pray to God to usher you into a year 2024.
I'm happy with my family. From January to December, we are safe. Nothing bad has happened to us, so we are here to give God all the glory, to thank Him.
Others embrace the night with joyous beats and laughter.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. And you did great, man.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And I appreciate Ghana next year. We have to be bold. Don't worry, you have for it. Eh?
It's Coco Meti Tree Kakra Kakra.
What's the tree Kakra Kakra? Okay, let's do a small tree. So move free here.
Sika, money.
Move free America.
America.
Okay, so
this year I decided to come to the beach just to come and have fun.
And how is it going?
Oh, so smooth.
Irrespective of where you find yourself, all are united by the shared anticipation of bidding farewell to the old and welcoming the promise of a new year. And at the stroke of midnight, fireworks lit up the night sky. The cheer at the Black Star Square from the splendid fireworks quickly turned upside down.
So it's the stroke of midnight, and officially we are in 2024. The excitement here at the Black Star Square is through the roof. Thousands and thousands of people are here to be part of the community, ushering themselves into a brand new year. And as usual, the Black Star Square is lit with fireworks lighting up the sky.
We'll take a short break. We'll return with business. Please stay with us.
Welcome, time to do business with me, Emma Davis. Fitch Solutions is anticipating significant public expenditure overruns by the government ahead of the December 2024 general elections. According to the UK-based firm, this is because the ruling government trails the largest opposition party and would therefore spend heavily to win voter sympathy. Here's more.
Fitch Solutions said since the start of the century, public expenditure as a share of the size of the economy increased by an average of 3.0 percentage points during election years. This reflects the government's tendency to subsidize utilities and implement social welfare programs to garner public support. It therefore anticipates that such measures will be implemented again in 2024, improving disposable incomes and stimulating household spending. It projected a private consumption growth to take up to 3.8% in 2024 from the 3.2% recorded in 2023, contributing 2.9 percentage points to headline real growth. Added that a moderation in consumer price inflation due to more favorable exchange rate dynamics will strengthen household spending. Again, the likely implementation of social support programs ahead of December election will support disposable incomes and stimulate domestic consumption.
AngloGold Ashanti has committed to improving the economic status of micro, small and medium enterprises in its host communities. Through its trade show, the company has created direct and indirect jobs at Obuasi. There's more in this report.
Over 300 traders and exhibitors in Obuasi displayed their product to kickstart the 2023 Obuasi Trade Show. In 2022, about 233 jobs were created compared to 21 in 2021, while 189 existing companies increased their market shares in their respective sectors. According to Manuel Baidu, Africa Regional Head, Community Relations at AngloGold, the trade show has served as a catalyst for economic growth in Obuasi.
The Obuasi Trade Show has come to stay as an annual event symbolizing progress and prosperity for our beloved city, Obuasi. Each year, the Obuasi Trade Show brings together talented minds, innovative ideas, and flourishing businesses, all working together towards a brighter future for Obuasi. And what I'm in particular very excited of today and for this session is that the Obuasi Trade Show is increasingly evolving into a force under a more sustainable structure and leadership. And thanks so much to the Obuasi Trade Show Consortium.
The 2023 trade show was under the theme, harnessing our creative potentials to contribute to the economic development of Obuasi. The Ministry of Trade and Industry said the government is actively pursuing policies to extend the country's industrial base and job creation. Enoch Newton spoke on behalf of the Ashanti Regional Director of Trade and Industry.
The government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Trade and Industry, is vigorously pursuing policy initiatives aimed at expanding the industrial base of the country to boost manufacturing and to create jobs. These policies involve a program of rapid industrialization and value addition, especially in agro-processing, as well as the establishment of industrial parks and special economic zones.
Some of the exhibitors spoke to Joy News.
Yes, the trade helps. It helps you to learn about packaging, because you come and you see other people and how they package their products, and you want to do more. It helps to meet other people in your industry, so you create contacts and networks.
Last year, was the first time I did trade show. Now, me and you could say, "Betty Mato, and Yemani Biana said, if I saw Bebre, but I could consume money, Moton, and Puntinama, Akenya, Yakan Swaba has said."
For Joy News, Anita Sewajugan reporting.
That's all for the business segment on JoyNews Prime. My name is Emma Davis. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com.
And that's all we have in this hour. You can log on to myjoyonline.com for more stories. My name is Carlos Kaloni. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your evening.